Hello, welcome to MTestHub, the ultimate recruiting, screening, shortlisting, and AI-driven assessment automation platform. I'm going to show you a quick demo today using a test hospital as the organization. So we created a test hospital organization called Test Hospital for the purpose of this demo. So first I'm going to create a job listing and show you how quickly and easy any recruiter with any background can create a very powerful job listing for any role. We have an AI job listing creator. So I'm going to use Test Hospital as the hiring organization. I already created an About Test Hospital information card. We could always update it however you'd like. And whenever you update it, you can save it for future purposes. So let's create a job for a medical coder. We can put any other requirements or any other context we want. We can say we want 3 years minimum experience and have a CPC certification. Anything else you would like, you can add it. Any other context, you can say it's a remote job. Let's keep it like that. Let's keep it simple. We're going to submit this job context to our AI job listing creator. And there we go. Since we don't have context as far as the location, it kept it blank for us to edit. As you can see, the entire job listing is entirely editable. You can add links if you wanted to. You can highlight it. You can create a link. However you'd like to modify this job listing. Also, if your company already has predetermined job descriptions, you can upload it yourself as well. So as you can see, I use the context that we provided it. It says that we are seeking a highly skilled professional medical coder to join our team. The ideal candidate will play a crucial role in accurate coding of medical records, ensuring compliance with regulations and payer requirements. It also says some roles and responsibilities that might be relevant. And if the recruiter wants to add more or remove some, that's totally fine. And here are the requirements. Minimum 3 years of experience in medical coding. CPC certification is required. Also add some recommended requirements like proficient ICD-10, CBT, HCPCS coding systems, strong understanding of medical terminology and anatomy, and we can fine tune as much as we want. So let's just go ahead and save this. I'm going to show you how quickly it is to create a job listing. So let's keep it as simple as possible. Let's go ahead and make it remote, make it for United States. We could put a salary in range or just one salary. Let's make it a full-time and just submit it. And just like that, the job listing is created. It's the quickest job listing you can create compared to any other platform. So we'll create a custom job listing URL that is shareable on all social media sites. We can go ahead and show you what it looks like. So we'll add your company logo, company name on the top, obviously the job title, the job description, and a very minimalist design, very simple job application. Now, the good thing about our job design, our job listing designs, is that it is optimized for mobile. So this is how it would look like for a mobile candidate landing on the page. They can fill it out right on their mobile phone, attach their resume, add their link, a little bit about me, and proceed to apply. All the applications are also two-factor authentication to prevent spam applications. And I'm going to go ahead and apply for this job real quick, just to do a quick demo of how easy it is. I'm going to take a low-quality candidate, add it right there. I'm going to skip that. I'm even going to skip that. Proceed to apply. And here is showing that it'll be the email address for verification. So I'm going to check my email. I already got it. If I were filling this out on a mobile device, I'll show you what the experience is like again. This is how it would look. And I would have to fill it out. So I think I typed it in wrong. There we go. That's it. Thank you for applying. We'll notify you in your email for further updates. I immediately got an acknowledgement email saying that I applied for the role. And now let's go back to the screening side. So job listing's already created. Now I haven't really set up any screening parameters. This is the simplest way you can use our platform. But the true power of our platform is our AI-driven assessment-based screening and shortlisting automation. Right now, we don't have any automation set up. So basically, you can look at the profile, the candidate profile, look at their resume, and you can make a decision as to how you want to move forward. But if we want to set up automation, you would simply go over here and set up automated screenings. So we have 5 different screeners. Now, one of them pops up when you create a questionnaire, and it's not available right now because we haven't added a questionnaire. But the 4 basic ones are AI score. So AI score, so we add a 1 to 5 score, and let's say we want to shortlist 3 stars or over. There's also a resume skill match score that compares the required skills in the job description with the skills in the resume. These are all resume and application-based screenings. So if they add more information in a cover letter or they add more information in the about section of the application, it will take that into consideration. And so we can put a 60% or 70% or more filter. We could also put essential skills filter. So essential skills it's a knockout filter. So keyword knockout filter. So we did say they need to have a CPC certification. So if they don't, they won't be screened. And then a location-based shortlist, we can do country, state, or city. We did want to hire in the United States, so I'll go ahead and put United States at least there. So those are the 4 base screeners. We could turn on or off how many as we want. We can make it as strict as possible or as lenient as possible. We could also adjust it halfway through the recruiting process. So we'll keep it like that just to show you how that works. You could also automate interview invitations. You could do walk-in interview invitations. You could also do virtual interview invitations. You could have different recruiters or hiring managers integrated. You could also create different types of event types. So I have panel interview. We have pre-screening calls. So I'll put a pre-screen. And I could also set up custom notifications. Like I want to be notified every time a candidate is shortlisted, or I want to be notified when an interview is scheduled. And I'll go ahead and submit it like that. So now the screening automation has started. So now we have 4 different screeners, and it already screened it. The candidate has been automatically screened, and it shows that they only got 1 out of 5 stars. And also, they only got 12.5% skill match score. So the AI remark gives the recruiter context so they don't have to read the full resume. So if you're thinking you got 30 different resumes, you don't have to read 30 different resumes, because if you had to read 30 different of these, that's going to be very tiring. And some resumes are multi-pages long. So we're just going to use a view AI remark, and this one says a candidate has very limited relevant skills and experience for the professional medical coder role. While they possess knowledge of ICD-10, they lack critical skills such as CPT, HCPCS, and medical terminology, and the required CPC certification. So all these requirements are taken from the job description. And since that isn't referenced in their resume or their application, that's not going to give them a high score. Additionally, their total experience is less than 1 year, which does not meet the 3 years experience required for the position. See how quick that was? Now, I want to show you the rest we can do before I test another applicant. So our assessment-based screening, so our tool is is a screening and shortlisting automation tool, but it's combined with the power of AI-driven assessments. Whereas most people have assessment platforms separated, we believe in the future of recruiting and finding the best candidates is by leveraging assessments on the front end, not the back end of recruiting. We want to assess on the front end because recruiters are just overwhelmed with bad candidates with optimized resumes. We understand someone could optimize their resume with ChatGPT in an instant and make it through these screeners. Obviously, we have multiple types of screeners we can apply to help minimize the impact of that, but you can never you could just you could there could be multiple people making it through the filters. So what we built was the capability to integrate assessments as a screening parameter. So a lot of recruiters don't use assessments because they're complicated, and that's why we built AI-driven assessments. So I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to build an assessment. So I'm going to go ahead and click create an assessment. And I'm going to create an assessment for Test Hospital for this role that I just created. We're going to do 15 moderate questions. Well, let's do 10 multiple choice answers only. Let's not give it any context for those. Then let's do 5 questions that are multiple choice, but let's test CPC related knowledge. Okay. And then I want to do descriptive. Let's do 5 descriptive questions. Descriptive allows you to test, situational or experience-related questions and give them time to answer it. So let's go ahead and generate the test. And remember, I might be a recruiter and I have no idea how medical coding works. And I actually don't have any idea how medical coding works. But I can leverage our assessment builder to really customize an assessment to help us beyond a reasonable doubt determine that the person that has shortlisted for this role and has scheduled an interview is one of the top candidates. Because assessments already, just by having a candidate go in and take an assessment, is an optimal screening parameter because it shows a candidate is engaged. Do you know how many people just click to apply, one click apply, and just forget about the application? Our tool allows them to get a prompt response, tell them they've been shortlisted within an hour, invite them to an assessment within another hour. And if they're taking the assessment, it shows they really want this job. The people that aren't serious and just quickly applied because they're not going to take the assessment. So you're already filtering out all the unengaged candidates. And now with the types of questions, you're filtering out the candidates that don't have the minimum qualifications. So look at these questions. In surgical coding, which modifier indicates that a procedure was performed bilaterally? Well, here are your options. Option 1, modifier 51, modifier 52, 22, 50, 99, and the answer is modifier 50. Here's another one. When coding a compromised airway due to a foreign body aspiration, which ICD-10 code is most appropriate? J9801. I'm not even going to go through this because I don't really understand it. But those were 10 questions. Another 5 questions were based on CPC certification knowledge, which is pretty similar here. So it gives you another coding type of questions. And here are the descriptive questions. In a scenario where a patient presents with multiple chronic conditions, including hypertension, diabetes, and chronic kidney diseases, describe the process you would follow to accurately code this patient's diagnosis. Include any relevant guidelines or rules for assuming the primary diagnosis code when multiple conditions are involved. Look at that. Do you think if you ask your candidates these questions and they score high, you would know beyond a reasonable doubt these are the top candidates, right? Because a lot of people can optimize a resume. So we're going to go ahead and save these questions and call it a medical code assessment. Let's schedule it for 30 minutes, right? And then we can put a little description for them to say, please take 30 minutes to complete this assessment to be considered for the position. All right, save and proceed. Now here are all the anti-cheating features. You might be thinking, well, They might use ChatGPT. Well, no, we have anti-cheating features. We can capture images from the camera to make sure that this person is actually the person that's coming in for the interview. They didn't pay someone else to take it. We can record their screen to ensure we're capturing everything they're doing on their screen. Enable full screen mode, block copy and paste, block right click on the window, block inspector developer tools in case this is a actual software coding type of assessment, which we could do as well. We could enable location, switching tab or windows. We could also show different questions for different people, just randomize questions and just show 5 questions per person. We can show all questions. We can auto-evaluate the tests. Auto-evaluate allows our AI evaluation tool to grade it. So the recruiter doesn't have to actually go in there and review it. They can see the percentage score of how many they got right and, shortlist and interview the top 10%. We can also live proctor. So a lot of our hiring managers that like to review, create coding tests, they do live proctoring, and that allows them to go live in the live proctoring section and see them in real time what they're doing, and they're then performing their coding exam. And they could even chat with them and let them know, like, get off your phone, things like that. It's really cool. So we have a very comprehensive assessment platform. You can make it as comprehensive or as simple as you want. And then we can even automate notifications to remind the candidate to take the test every 2 days. Let's go ahead and save and finish. I know I did a lot of talking, but imagine if I weren't doing all this talking, we would have created a 20 question medical coder assessment in less than 2 or 3 minutes. Okay. So I probably should have demoed it, staying quiet, but I like to talk a lot. But there it is. So we can preview it. I can show you what it looks like. So this is what the assessment looks like when the candidate goes in. They click proceed. They follow through and go through all the acknowledgments. If they were having to open up their camera, they would have to acknowledge that. If they have to share their device location, they have to do that. Once they go in, this is what their testing platform looks like. There's a time. Every time they answer a question, it shows them that they've answered it, and then they submit it. And here are the descriptive questions. They have open space to write it. And that's another reason we track camera. We allow camera because we do eye tracking. So if we constantly see that the person is looking off the screen when answering one of these questions, it will give us a red flag that, there is a potential that they could have cheated. But we notice that even though there is a risk, when you're doing assessment-based screening and shortlisting on the front end to just filter out your best candidates, your hiring manager could do further assessments during the interview and really get down and dirty to the specifics. But these assessment-based screening method, it allows you to really be confident that you're providing the best candidates to your hiring managers to review for their final review. So once the assessment's created, you can attach it to your automation. And that's what's cool. It just becomes another part of your screening. So we can go in here and we can go to the screening automation aspect of the listing. And there is a test and assessment section. So I can go and do assessment-based shortlisting and then search for code, medical code assessment. It's already there. I could assign another assessment. I don't have another one for coding because I just did it, but let's say there is one right there. And I can set minimum requirements of scores that automates the shortlisting. So they need to score over 70 here, maybe an 80% here. I could have them receive it one by one, or all at the same time, an email with all the assessments that they have to complete. I prefer to just do one assessment, get a good gauge of who are my best top qualified candidates, and then just move my top qualified candidates to the next stage of the recruiting process and interview them. So this is what our platform allows you to do, is so you don't have to do it manually. You can just automate the interview scheduling. So what happens here is that once you submit it, I'll show you. These are the screening and interview automation parameters. We have one filter. So the way this works is the person applies. The system will score them based on the AI score with the reasoning. If they score over 3, then they go into this screener. Then the AI will screen the keywords and the qualifications. And if they reach over 70%, then they move to this screener. Then if this is blank, obviously, they'll move to the next step. But if this says CPC, if they don't have this skill, then they won't make it through. So they could have scored 5 out of 5 stars and 100%, but then if they don't have the CPC, then they wouldn't make it through. And then also the location-based screener. Once that's done, it moves to the assessment-based shortlisting process. They get invited, they get sent an email that says, "Hi, congratulations, you've been shortlisted. To move to the next step, please complete this assessment." MTestHub will automatically send the medical code assessment or the assessment assigned in the settings and wait for them to take it. Once they take it, it will score it. And if they score above 70%, it will automate and send the interview. So it's literally one end to end. You as a recruiter or hiring manager don't have to do anything. You could literally wait, open the position, sit back, and wait for your interviews to be scheduled. And then they could just be pre-screening calls. They could be full interviews. Or you could turn off the automated interview and just let the system shortlist and then just thoroughly review everyone that has been fully shortlisted and decline the rest. It's totally up to you how you want to use the platform. It's as customizable or automated as you want to do. Do as much manual or as much automation as possible. So now that all these automations have been done, I am going to apply for the job again. Let's do this one called test candidate. And let me add a different email for this one. There we go. Actually, yeah. And then let me add a different resume. Oh, let me go back. Choose file. There we go. And then I'm going to do Georgia because that's where I'm at. All right. Proceed to apply. All right. So let me go ahead and check my email. All right, my application has been submitted. So now if I go on the recruiting side, on the creator side, and I refresh, I have a new candidate. So now we just got to give it a couple minutes just for the screening process to happen. All right, and so there it is updated, and you can see this candidate got shortlisted, right? So it says, why did they get shortlisted? Because they hit the resume skill match score, the essential skills filter, the location-based shortlist, and the AI score. Now, if you look at the remark, you can see that this candidate is an excellent match for the professional medical coder role. They possess all required skills, including ICD-10, CPT, HCPCS, and have the necessary CPC certifications with 5 years of total experience, including 3 years specifically in medical coding. They demonstrate a strong understanding of medical terminology and coding standards. And then you could even look at the resume. Now, obviously, I used a example candidate resume, and I made sure that this was the best candidate. And I made sure that this one was not a good candidate, right? So as you can see, yes, people can optimize their resume. Hopefully they're not, but it happens. So here it shows the skills required for the role, but based on the job description, and the skills found in the resume. And it shows you the matching scores and why it matched. But this automation happened literally in less than a minute, a couple minutes. And it already invited to an assessment, right? Because they already met all the shortlisting parameters and invited the person to an assessment. So I want to show you how this looks like in a real life scenario that's not using fake resumes. So I'm going to show you one of our previous roles that we hired for, VP Product Marketing and Growth. And you can see all the shortlisted, assessed, interviewed, selected candidates. And our screening parameters for 70, they need to have content and project experience. And then let's go down here to the candidates. So you can see how they're filtered. They're in order of stars, but you could filter however you'd want. Just to give you an example right here. So um, Ibuka, this person, got 4 out of 5 stars. You can see the reason. The candidate demonstrates a strong alignment with the job requirements, particularly in project management, content marketing, and social media management. They have extensive experience leading marketing teams and executing successful campaigns, which is crucial for this role. However, critical skills such as AI-driven assessments and specific market strategies for US, Europe, and UAE are missing, which slightly lowers the match score. So it explained that. Now, did I have to read this entire resume to understand that? No. It would have taken me a long time to read this. And in fact, it would have taken me a long time to read 39 of those, right? So I could just use this tool to give me a quick glimpse. I could look at the skills that were in my job description and the skills that were found in the resume and the reasoning behind the skill match score. So yes, they have more skills than I was looking for, but based on what I needed, there were still some that didn't match. And it allows a recruiter an opportunity to follow up on that, right? Like, I didn't really notice you mention anything about blog writing. Like, can you give me some background on blog writing? So after the person gets shortlisted, like I showed you before, they get sent the assessment. So this is what the assessment scoring looks like. So this one got a 40%, this one got an 81.25%, this one got 85%. Peter got one of the highest scores. And they also had one of the highest scores in the resume skill score and the AI score. So I can go in here and look at the actual assessment and the score that they got. So they answered 20 out of the 20 questions, but they got 17.1 marks out of the 20 total marks, which gives them an 85% score. If I click view answers, I'll be able to dive deeper and see the answers that they answered. So I can see the multiple choice answers and the questions they got correct. And then I can see, they got this one wrong. And then, so they got 0 points for that. But I could also see their descriptive answers. So this is a descriptive question right here. Your marketing team has proposed optimizing the onboarding content for a new AI-powered ATS feature. How would you approach managing the project timeline and collaboration between content writers, UX designers, and tech teams to ensure clarity and timely delivery? So this person typed in, I will ensure there is a plan or task management tool in place to manage teams and prioritize tasks to ensure that all tasks and teams are given. You get the point, right? But basically, this person got a 90%. It's 0.9 out of 1 total points. And when you click here, the AI will give you reasoning. The response outlines a solid approach to managing the project timeline collaboration. It emphasizes task management and stakeholder engagement, but could benefit from more detail on specific collaboration tools and methods. This one got a 0.8, and it gives you a reasoning as well. Didn't fully address how to guide content strategy based on the data. So all the reasonings are going to be specific to the question. This one got a 0.6, and it says the answer suggests re-examining the campaign and researching competitors, but lacks depth in analyzing the current strategy and specific adjustments to improve engagement. So the recruiter can use these insights as much as they want. I personally don't, right? Like, I just go through and ensure that my candidates that I'm going through, that I'm interviewing, are the best, right? Because that's our model. Hire the best, bypass the rest. So we want to hire better and leverage AI and automation to help recruiters do what they do best. And what they do best is building relationships. They need to build relationships with their hiring managers to understand the roles, understand the talent they're looking for, and then build relationships with their top candidates. Right now, in these days, a lot of people are making it through screeners. Those basic screeners that all these other tools have, they don't cut it anymore. That's why AI driven assessments and assessment based screening and shortlisting is the future, because you can screen and shortlist all you want based on a piece of paper. But when you ask someone to take an assessment, right there, that's your first filter. You're testing their engagement. How motivated are they for this role? These days, people can just one click apply. They can just apply to 10 jobs at one time. They even created an app that's like Tinder, and you just swipe right to all the jobs you want to apply, and it'll apply for you. These people, you send them an assessment, most of the time, they're not even going to take it. That means they're not serious. But the people that are taking it, those are people that are engaged. So that's one check mark towards, a best candidate. They're qualified, they're engaged. Then you're testing their qualification, their skills. You can test their experience, and you could sit back, relax, and wait for the interviews to trickle in. So there's definitely a lot to cover. There's definitely even more. We can build questionnaires and knock out questions, create talent pools. There's the CRM capabilities. We could even share the the qualified candidates with hiring managers. There's a lot to show, but every demo is specific to the customer. So feel free to reach out to me, Daniel at MTestHub.com. Feel free to reach out to our Chief Growth and Revenue Officer, Bill Arnold, at bill@mtesthub.com. Very easy emails to remember. We're more than happy to give you a customized demo, customized to your needs, your questions, how you do your talent acquisition, and show you how we can transform and really streamline and enhance your recruiting and shortlisting and talent acquisition and talent identification capabilities. Thank you. Have a great day.